All right, so let me paint you a picture. I'm sitting there just casually flipping through football clips on my phone. Nothing out of the ordinary. I've seen a million plays, 1,000 highlight reels. You get kind of numb to it after a while. I mean, after watching hours of game film and breakdowns, it takes something truly special to make you pause. But then I stop. I literally stop scrolling. I double tap the screen to rewind, watch it again. My eyebrows raise, my jaw kind of drops, and I find myself saying, wait a second, what did I just watch? And here's the craziest part turns out I wasn't the only one. Patrick Mahomes! That Patrick Mahomes, the magician, the escape artist, the guy who throws left-handed off-platform passes like it's backyard football even. He stopped scrolling, and not only did he watch it again, he dropped a comment. That never happens. That's when I knew this wasn't just a good play. This was something else. This was Shedeur Sanders doing something so jaw-droppingly surgical that it made one of the best quarterbacks on the planet lean in and pay attention. So, naturally, I had to ask, what just happened? What was it about that one play, that single moment in a college game on an otherwise normal Saturday that made Mahomes, who's seen and done everything on a football field, feel the need to speak on it? So, please, take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. Well, let's talk about it. That play didn't just flip a scoreboard, it flipped the narrative. That moment was Shedeur Sanders stepping out of his father's shadow and planting his own damn flag. It wasn't just a touchdown, it was a message. A loud, clear, unignorable message to the NFL. I'm not just here because of my last name. I belong. Now, let's back it up, because if you're not deep in the football world, you might miss how significant this was. Let's be real. Shedeur wasn't supposed to go in the later rounds. He's a guy who, based purely on talent, could have been a second-round pick. Easy. So when the Browns snagged him where they did, man, I'm telling you, that could turn out to be the biggest steal of the entire draft. You know how people still talk about the 49ers taking Brock Purdy with the last pick? If this thing pans out the way I think it might, Cleveland could be having that exact same conversation 5 years from now. And they'll look like geniuses for it. Because here's the thing, everyone talks about flashy tools when it comes. 2 quarterbacks, arm strength, 40 times highlight reel plays. But those things, those aren't what make quarterbacks great. They're not what separates the good from the legendary. Shedeur's game is built on the real quarterback traits, the ones that actually win you football games. I'm talking about processing speed, decision-making, the ability to read defenses, stay calm in the chaos, and deliver under pressure. And what makes it even more impressive is that he's doing all this under a microscope that very few players in college football have ever had to deal with. Because let's not forget, he's not just any quarterback. He's Deion Sanders' son. That's a blessing and a curse all rolled into one. It means every single thing he does is magnified. Every throw is scrutinized. Every incompletion is dissected. Half the world wants to see him prove greatness is genetic. The other half is just waiting for him to slip so they can say, see, he's just writing daddy's name. That pressure, that weight, it's real. And you can see it sometimes. You can see it in the way he stiffens before big throws, the way his eyes drift toward the sideline after a mistake, maybe searching for his father's approval or trying to gauge the reaction. That's the burden of being a legend's son. You're not just playing football. You're defending a legacy every time you step on the field. But on that day, something changed, and I swear, you could feel it in the air. You know those games where it's like every snap matters more than it should? Colorado was locked in a brutal, high-stakes fight down by 4. Tension so thick you could cut it with a knife. That kind of game where you're not just playing for points, you're playing for respect. The stadium was electric. That kind of buzzing energy where even watching on TV, you can feel it through the screen. And then the moment arrived, the drive that would decide the game. Now, if you're a quarterback, every coach in America is telling you to be smart here. Play it safe. Don't force anything. Move the chains. Live to fight another down. That's the coaching manual. That's how you stay on the field. But Shedeur, he wasn't reading from the manual. He was writing his own book. The defense lined up to bring the house. 6, maybe 7 blitzers. The offensive line didn't stand a chance. They were already on skates before the snap. Every instinct in his body should have been screaming, "Dump it off! Throw it away!" But instead of backing up or bailing out to the side, Shedeur steps up into the pressure, into the fire, into chaos, and he keeps his eyes locked downfield. That's the first sign of something special. Then the reads start unfolding his first option. Blanketed second guy, double coverage, safety cheating over the top, cutting off the deep ball. There's nothing there but Shedeur. He sees something the rest of us don't. A microscopic window maybe 2 feet wide, 35 yards downfield, tightly bracketed by 3 defenders. And this is where the great ones separate from the rest. Good quarterbacks throw to open receivers. Great quarterbacks anticipate who will be open. But the special ones, the truly elite, they throw 2 windows that haven't even opened yet. Tan trusts their arm, their timing, and their vision to make it work. So he pulls the trigger. And just as he lets go, a defender's got a handful of his jersey. It's not just a pressure throw, it's a desperation throw. And yet it leaves his hand with such precision, such touch, that you immediately know this kid isn't guessing. He's in total control. And while the ball's in the air, time freezes. You know those football moments where it's like the whole world slows down, where you can hear individual gasps from the crowd, where everything, the season, the momentum, the narrative comes down to one pass spiraling through the air. That's what this was. The ball glides just over the defender's fingertips, drops behind the safety trying to recover, and hits the receiver in stride, like they'd been rehearsing that exact moment since they were kids. Touchdown, game over. But more than that statement made. And here's the thing I want people to understand. It wasn't just about arm strength. It wasn't just about accuracy. It was about courage, about guts, about having the mental strength to say, I see the safest throw, and I'm going to take the hardest one instead, because I know I can make it. That's why Mahomes reacted. That's why NFL scouts are now scrambling to dig deeper into Shedeur's film. Because he didn't just make a great play, he made a play that proved something. He showed that when the lights are bright, the stakes are sky high, and the critics are loud, he can rise above it. He showed that he's not just the son of Deion Sanders. He's a quarterback, a leader, and maybe, just maybe, the future face of a franchise. And if you weren't paying attention before, now's the time to start, because Shedeur Sanders just kicked the damn door open, and he's coming for everything. So, please take 2 seconds to hit the subscribe button, like the video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. I'm talking about Shedeur Sanders stepping up, under pressure, and letting one rip that cut through the chaos like a laser. Now sure, you can say, yeah, it's just one play, but that's exactly where it gets interesting, because this wasn't just anybody noticing it. This wasn't just some analyst or scout giving it a nod. This was Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, that Patrick Mahomes. The same guy who's made a career out of doing things with a football that don't make sense. The same guy who's been redefining what it means to be a quarterback in today's NFL. The same guy who's been there in the biggest moments, making impossible throws with championships on the line. So when he sees something special in a young quarterback, it's time to sit up and pay attention. Mahomes saw that throw from Shedeur, and he didn't just hit it with a nice pass. No, he hit it with something simple, but real. He said, that's how you do it under pressure. Kid's got ice in his veins. Now let me tell you why that matters. Because a comment like that coming from your buddy or a fan on Twitter, it's cool, right? But coming from Mahomes, that's currency. That's validation on a level most players will never get. That's like Jordan tipping his cap when you drop 40 at the Garden. That's like Brady saying, this kid's got it. But hold on, it gets better. Because this wasn't just Mahomes seeing the play in passing. No pun intended. Word started getting out that Mahomes actually went back and rewatched the play. Multiple times, he studied it. He looked at Shedeur's footwork, the timing, the decision-making under pressure. He paid attention to the throw, the way quarterbacks watch other quarterbacks, and that tells me everything I need to know. This wasn't just a casual moment. This was a moment. And let me tell you, once Mahomes gave it that stamp of approval, the football world lit up. Scouts who had barely been paying attention to Shedeur suddenly started asking for more tape. Teams that had him as a day 3 pick, They started rethinking things. They started digging deeper. Because if the best quarterback in the game is rewinding a play and calling out the mental toughness behind it, you better believe front offices are going to take a second look. Social media exploded. Debates broke out. Analysts were scrambling to figure out if this was just one lucky throw or the beginning of something real. And I get it. People are skeptical. It's fair. One throw doesn't make a career, they say. Let's see him do it against NFL defenses. Let's see it week after week. And look, I agree with that. You've got to prove it. Overtime, under pressure, with everything on the line. But here's the thing. In moments like that, you get a glimpse of who someone is. That's the key. It's not just about the stats or the hype or the last name. It's about character. And that throw told me, and clearly told Patrick Mahomes, that Shedeur Sanders has the mental edge. That give me the ball when it counts type of edge. Because let's not forget, this isn't just any college QB we're talking about. This is a kid growing up in the shadow of a legend. Deion Sanders. Prime time. The expectations are sky high. And the pressure, it's relentless. Most young players would crack under that kind of spotlight. But instead, Shedeur stepped into it and delivered. And that's what makes this moment matter. It's not just about a great throw. It's about how it happened. It's about when it happened. And it's about who noticed on. Let's talk ripple effects, because there were immediate ones. Colorado recruiting. It saw a bump. Draft analysts. They started reshuffling their boards. The conversation around the Sanders family, it started to evolve. We went from, can these guys really play? To wait, how far can they go? And look, I'm not saying Mahomes' approval means Shedeur is guaranteed to succeed in the NFL. No one is. There have been plenty of college QBs who had everything going for them. The arm, the speed, the press coverage, and still fell flat when they hit the league. That's the harsh truth. The NFL is a different beast. Faster, smarter, less forgiving. But here's where I stand. That throw, it wasn't just about the arm. It was about the mind. The courage to pull the trigger when every coach on earth would have told him to play it safe. That takes guts. That takes instinct. That takes a different kind of wiring. You can't coach that. You can't fake it. And in a league where games are won and lost in split seconds,